I came along to this workshop with Richard Gill. Richard Gill's quite a special person in Australian music scene, and certainly as an educator we can get so much out of him, and it refreshes a lot of ideas we do as well, because I'm a music teacher myself. So to get his ideas and the way he approaches making music, and not only just making music but teaching the fundamentals of how it should be done or another way to do it, I think is very good. And he's so encouraging with helping us find out new ideas and also accepting of the way we do it as well. I think that's a wonderful thing to be part of.
Right, so what have you got out of this week?
Well, I'm not really a singer or a clarinet player, so I've got to do both of those things. So I'm taking a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I really understand the need to do singing. I try and make my students sing a lot, and I think that's something that is essential to fundamental music making, because that's our original voice. So by doing that and having to put in a situation, it's very good for me to do that and appreciate that a little more.
Why is something like this important for music education and community music?
I think it's essential because when we work by ourselves in our schools, we tend to be the individual expert on what we do, but having the knowledge that there's a lot more out there in the music world, I think is most important, and to be reminded of that constantly for us. And there's so many other ways of doing things I think is very important for all educators. It's easy to get trapped in your own way of doing things, and I think we need to break out of that more often. You can't stop learning about music. It's just a huge subject, and I think it's one of those subjects when you think you know all about it, you've actually got no idea. So the more you actually discover, you realise how much more there is to learn, and I think that's the key to teaching music and learning about music.
And what can Bundaberg get out of something like this, that the whole community, why is it important for a community to have things like this?
Well, in a community such as Bundaberg, we don't have professional orchestras, and the music professionals have gone to university, often just gone into the music teaching side of it. So to actually someone who's worked with professionals, they have a different way of looking at music. And I think bringing those ideas to our community sharpens up what we do and exposes us to a higher way of thinking about the music and as a general community. There's no point just having the individual teacher knowing about the music. I think if the community understands that there's a bigger picture to it, I think they're more accepting of learning more about it as well.
I think the positive is the way in which people have contributed without fear, even though it may have been difficult. I think another positive is the fact that the community has come together with a very disparate age range. And the point I made this morning was that music is not exclusive, it's inclusive. And so we've got a 13-year-old and, deeply geriatric people like myself. So all working towards a common goal. And that's a really important thing in a community. That's a positive. I would say it's the most positive thing that a community works together via music, and that it's accessible to all.
Fantastic. And so what do you think people are taking away from this week, the participants?
I think a lot of people are very happy about singing, which is good. I think people are finding out things about music they may not have thought about before. I think they find out that there are numbers of ways of solving a problem. I think they're finding out that no one has the corner on truth. I think they're finding out that many ways of solving musical problems can be acceptable. And as you know, we try numbers of things. Try it this way, try it that way, do it slower, do it faster, etc., etc. So in other words, they're finding out that in order to understand, you need to approach it in numbers of different ways to try and find the truth.
And have you seen an improvement during the week?
I think so. I hope so. Have you?
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. This is a very, very mixed ability group. My view has been to treat them as if they're the most highly qualified professionals in the world. And that way we get results. If you treat them as if they don't know anything, that's what you get. It's like teaching kids. Junk in equals junk out. And that's what syllabuses often do. Dumb down to the lowest common denominator. Not here. We teach to the highest level.
And why are things like this important, A, for communities, but also for music education in a community?
They're important, one, because they bring the community together. Two, because they see and hear the importance of music in a person's life. And music is, I think, incredibly important in all lives because of what it does for the heart, the mind, the soul, and the spirit. And they're really intangible things. They're not things you can quantify, but they are really important because it does change people's lives, change the way they think, change the way they view the world. It gives them another layer, gives them another complexity to their lives. That's got to be good.
Professionally, I came along this week for the opportunity to meet Richard Gill, but also to see what I could learn from him and to further my skills as a conductor.
And why Bundaberg?
Why Bundaberg? Bundaberg is where I was born and bred. It's my hometown. It's wonderful to be able to come back here and meet all the musicians that taught me when I was going through growing up. And yeah, it's been a really wonderful experience.
So why is something like this important for a community?
For a community? Well, to start with, to be known as a centre of arts excellence is a wonderful thing for any community. For people to have that idea of a region is wonderful. Also having it in a region, having the capability of it being much more intimate. Often when these things are in the cities, they're on a large scale, and you know, I've flown to Melbourne, I've flown to Sydney for workshops like these, but you're lost amongst a crowd there. Whereas here you've really felt like you've had the opportunity to form a relationship with Richard.
And how's it been working with such a range of musicians in ages and abilities?
Fantastic, fantastic. And Richard is exceptional. Sure. Working with a range of ages and people of different musical abilities has been wonderful this week to watch their development as well as my own, and to learn from them and through their growth has been a really intriguing and interesting thing.
What's the highlight of the week?
The highlight of the week for me is getting to conduct a full orchestra with a choir as well. Nothing better.
You do that again without slap, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know you're enthusiastic about that.
I'm very enthusiastic. The highlight of the week for me this week has been the chance to conduct a full orchestra with a choir as well. It's just wonderful, a wonderful opportunity.
Well, you came along this week?
Well, I came along this week to see someone of the standard of Richard Gill, who we've heard about, some of us have heard about so much as an educator, which I found very interesting. His educational areas are very interesting, and as a conductor of both choirs and orchestras, and just really was looking forward to having a wonderful time.
And so what have you got out of it then? What have you got out of this week?
Well, I think the main things I've probably gained is things like some of the warm-ups that we can do with the choir now, because I conduct the Bundaberg Orpheus Singers, so it's lovely to try and get some new ideas. Having a sing for me is another big point, because I've been conducting all the time. I very rarely get to sing, so I've really enjoyed singing works I've never done before, some of them, and that was really interesting things that we could perhaps do with the choir as well.
And why is something like this important for a community, particularly for Bundaberg?
Well, I think something like this can bring a community together. You've had both choir people, instrumentalists, who don't always get a chance to work together. They can come together and mix socially as well, which has been, I think, quite a big thing as well this week. But to work with someone, again, like Richard, bringing both groups together, and it's just been very exciting.
And can you talk about the development that you've seen during the week in the group, from a fairly kind of disparate group to what happened?
Oh, I think the way the standard and the development of the two groups, from people starting off, a lot of the choristers don't sight read at all, don't read music, and hearing their problems in that first day, saying, we'll never do this, and the encouragement we've been given all week, the standard has just risen every day, and the same with the orchestral players as well. But for the singers, I feel it's just been a real eye-opener that you can do this standard of work in a short time when you've got someone like Richard to lead you on the way, encourage you. So encouraging. It's just been fantastic.
Thank you.
You could just state your name and spell it for us, that'd be great.
Jordan, Jordan.
Full name, please.
Yunus, Yunus.
Great.
Thanks, Jordan. Fantastic. All right, so why did you come along this week, Jordan?
Well, because my teacher told me to, but it was a good opportunity. My teacher was telling me that Richard Gill is pretty high up and I wouldn't be able to get this sort of tutoring otherwise. So,
fantastic. And what have you done this week?
I've done a lot of exercises to improve your overall playing and a lot of singing as well, and worked on pieces and a lot of conducting tutoring.
And you've done some conducting yourself?
Yeah, one song.
Yeah. So can you tell us about that experience? How's the conducting process been with Richard?
It's been good, I suppose.
Have you conducted before?
I've conducted a small group at school, the brass ensemble, but apart from that, no.
Okay. And what sort of feedback have you got from Richard this week?
He's even told me how to make my connect with the orchestra and how to be more smooth with my conducting and different ways to approach it.
Yeah, great. Why do you reckon it's important that things like this happen in a community?
Well, I think it provides a diversity to where you're receiving information, because if you only have one source through your whole life and then you don't really have your own way to do things, you're just following what somebody else has done.
Fantastic. And what's the highlight of your week been?
Probably the conducting was the most fun, I reckon.
Okay, cool. Can you just say that again and just say the highlight of my week's been conducting?
The highlight of my week would have to be conducting.
Cool. Done. All right, that was it.
All you'll be doing is speaking to Rod, so if you could just state your name and spell it for us, please.
My name is Claudia Marcus, Claudia, Marcus, Marcus.
Okay. Oh, sorry, mate.
So, Claudia, what brought you along this week? Why'd you come?
I guess because I could. It's something to do on your holidays. It's a great opportunity. Richard Gill is, I guess, famous in the music world in Australia, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity.
Fantastic. And so you're a member of the youth orchestra, yeah?
I was a couple of years ago, yeah.
But you're a member of Savvy Orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay. So what have you got out of this in terms of, working in the community and playing music?
So I've always played with, I guess, the younger people. So I've experienced a lot of working with the youth, but it's also good to work with the older members of the community. A lot of the singers here from the Orpheus singers, and I've watched their concerts, but it's different actually rehearsing with them. So I think I can learn from them, and also they can learn from me. So I think that's good.
So why is it important that things like this happen and that things get mixed up a little bit and people get brought together who wouldn't normally? Why is that important for a community?
It helps the community to get to know each other, and they get to, experience what everyone has a voice basically, and it's good to know the other people's skills and to further develop yours and just, forge bonds with the community. And they, if you have a gig, they could come to your gig if they know it's on, and it just helps to, I guess, further join the community together.
What about, has it been a challenging week? Have you been challenged by it?
Yeah, the repertoire is very different. I've never played or sung any of it before. It's it's great to sing in 4-part harmony, and I like that everyone gets to sing at the start of the day. And, you know, even if you're an instrumentalist, it's good to get an overall picture of what's happening with the music. So it tunes your ear, and it's good to sing. And I like, because I'm a singer as well as playing the cello, so I enjoy both, and this has given me the opportunity to do both.
What's been the biggest challenge for you this week?
Biggest challenge? I guess sight reading the music, learning the music, and a lot of the memory games, learning by ear. I'm such a music reader that learning by ear is now a challenge for me.
Okay. And what's it been like working with Richard?
I find him very inspiring. He's very funny. I like the way that he approaches the music and approaches teaching us, and he's very positive, so I really like that.
Thank you.
Could just state your name and spell it for us, that'd be great.
Kieran Huang Ryan, Ciaran, Huang Ryan, HUANG-RYAN.
Great. So if you just speak to Rod, don't worry about this, yeah?
Yeah.
And a nice loud voice when you were singing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Awesome. So, Kieran, why did you come along this week?
Well, the conductor of the orchestra I'm in, the Bundaberg Youth Orchestra, mentioned it and said Richard Gill was a very knowledgeable person. So, and I was free in the holidays, and it's always good to get out and do something. So I came along.
Okay. What have you done this week? What sorts of things have you done?
Well, we've done exercises to enhance our singing and playing. We've worked on different pieces of music. Some we sing, others I play. I play trumpet.
Can I just get you, like, so pretend you're speaking to the people behind Rod, yeah?
So speak on.
Yeah. You've got some wonderful answers. You really want to hear them. Yeah, can you just do a little bit about what instrument you play and maybe how long you've been playing for, I guess?
Okay.
There you go. So what do you play and how long have you been playing?
Well, I play trumpet. I'm the first trumpet in this. And I've been playing it for 5 years, I think now, or 4.
Fantastic. And what's been the best fun this week? What's been the most fun for you?
Playing the new pieces and learning them and sight reading them has been really enjoyable, because most of them I've never seen before.
And what about working with Richard Gill? What's it been like working with him?
Very enjoyable, and he's been quite funny, and the way he approaches teaching us, it's entertaining, and it really helps us.
And what have you learned out of this week?
I've learnt things about singing and better techniques to playing.
Okay. And what's it been like playing with a choir and an orchestra together? Have you done that before?
I think I've done it before, but can't remember it very well. But this is definitely a new experience overall.
And why is something like this important, do you think, for Bundaberg to have Richard here and to be coming together like this?
Well, to learn from a variety of sources is always good. And Richard Gill is very knowledgeable.
You had some really good answers there, mate.
Thanks so much. That was really